What do you do?
I mean, how far away are we?
Not that far. Maybe one or two at most. Maybe they say two card lengths away, right? Because they had a little bit of, they went first. You can't jump right now yet. You would have to close the distance, right, in order to jump.
As I said, Harmon came
if you have
prepared
a-
because
if you
he
have a
was on the
range-
job.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I have my sling staff,
Okay.
or as it's commonly known, staff sling.
So you're the kinder of the group. Okay.
So I will take the action to aim. And then I guess whoever's driving their wagon.
You have night vision? Okay. So you have an 8. But they have a bonus because it's somewhat dark. And the range as well. What's the range of your weapon? The staff sling, what's the range?
I think he's trying to figure that out.
Okay, no worries.
Or he's experiencing technical difficulties.
That too. Okay, let me just look at the book as well.
I'm pretty sure. Either way, it's only 2 cart lengths, so at most that's got to be, what, short?
Yeah, staff sling's maximum range is long.
Yeah,
Okay.
so you can actually snipe someone with it. Very nice.
Yeah. So you're aiming for the driver, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Because if he goes reeling, then he's going to have a hard time driving.
Okay, so you got a 7, you beat him. And those 2 ones.
Yeah, I hate you.
You wing him. Bang. Yeah. So that's damage plus 3. Soak.
4 to soak. Oof.
Yeah, he doesn't have a lot of soak. Ooh, yeah. So basically, okay, the wound condition, he's certainly wounded. Let's look at the conditions, shall we? Actions.
What was it? Reeling, hurt, afraid, injured?
Yeah, he's injured.
Yep, he's bleeding.
Yeah.
And I guess just to clarify, how many people do we see around this carriage?
You see the driver, and you don't see anybody else because whoever happens to be there it's inside the carriage.
Got it.
Yeah. Okay. Damage. 2 points. 3 points damage. Target is hurt.
And afraid, which is going to stop him from running.
Yeah, being injured makes during the injured status a lot harder than curing hurt.
Be hurt or injured won't stop them.
Yeah. No, but he has to make a roll to see if he doesn't lose control of the carriage.
Oh yeah, that would make sense. I guess that would be mine and vehicles.
And he doesn't. And essentially, he falls. You see a figure sort of fall out of the carriage, and the carriage sort of, breaks apart. The mount goes one way, the carriage goes another, goes sideways, and slams into the ground in front of you. And the carriage driver in front of you, he's going to try to not collide with the carriage.
Yeah, having that land on you is a bad scene.
Yeah.
Ooh. Everybody brace for impact.
Is he all? And the carriage driver's already hurt and injured?
No, the original carriage was injured, and he basically was trying to get control of the carriage. He was reeling, so he fell off. And when he fell off, the whole
so when he hits the ground, he takes an extra 2 points of damage. I don't think he's long for this world, guys.
No, he's not. The carriage driver. It's the thing is that the carriage basically jumped, right? The haste.
Oh wait, did he take 4 damage or 3 damage?
He took 4 damage because he
Oh,
wasn't
4
able
no,
to-
4 damage. He's already unconscious.
Yes, that's what he fell. He fell off the. In that case, there was
Yeah,
no.
so he
he's
would have lost
dying.
control. Yeah,
Did
and
you-
fell off. He's already
Yeah.
dying. So when he
Yeah.
hits the ground, he's not going to be in good shape.
Did you forget his silk roll?
Yeah, he
He
did.
did. He
It's,
just he just
rolled
botched
three.
it pretty
Three.
bad.
He botched it basically.
Yeah, it came up no
Yeah.
successes. So
Yeah,
yeah, it was
yeah.
a good hit.
And the carriage just sort of goes sideways and sprawl.
Yeah, he's probably killed instantly when he hits the ground.
And whoever happens to be, but that second roll also is a problem because that was your carriage driver trying to avoid the wreckage, and he
Right.
failed.
I don't necessarily have any focus to like try to back him up or keep control or anything here.
So I guess everybody
as
has to
a-
make
To know
body.
my third action would have been guard.
Okay, everybody has to make a resistance roll or impact.
Ah, what are we rolling?
So that would be body and what else? And soak. Basically, you're soaking.
Okay, so I'll go ahead and I'll just hit my button, and we'll just ignore
If you
the
want to be
armor.
cruel, you could suggest that people throw in their vehicles roll to help resist crashing damage.
That's actually a really good point. Might I roll a d6?
But are you driving? Are you driving the?
But
Well, I would suggest that it would be people used to bracing for impact. Then you just
Oh.
raise the amount of damage the collision does.
this isn't my first carriage crash.
So it's damage +2.
But yeah, if you're willing to do that, I'll roll it. If not, I got a good success.
Okay, you can roll that. Yeah.
Okay. It is my first carriage crash, I know.
So Harmon, you soaked. You have a 5 and a 4. So yeah, that damage got soaked. Gregory, you soaked as well. Dax, you're reeling, and
Yeah.
Spencer, you're.
My armor's not there, so I am reeling and I believe hurt.
What is
Yeah, I'm not wearing armor. I'm wearing fancy clothes.
So you don't have one. It's damage +2, so it's yeah. So 3 total. Yeah. So basically, the carriage you're inside, and everything goes topsy turvy, and whoever is, well, I guess the only person who is not reeling is Harmon, correct? Actually, no.
If it's 3 damage and I took 1, I'm reeling and hurt as well.
Everybody's reeling, right? And as you're recovering, everybody hears the same thing. You hear a shot go off, and then nothing. You can make your recovery rolls. Essentially, you're going to recover from reeling anyway.
Right, right. If one of our actions was up next, like we're gonna recover and then do something.
And whether hopefully you get out, right? You get out of the carriage.
Yeah, so I'll
the
recover
poor
and
driver-
tumble out.
Yeah, the poor driver that you basically
Hijacked.
dragoon into doing this chase. You basically find one part of him nearby, his legs, and the other part somewhere down the road, because
Oh,
literally
God.
what happened was that your own carriage sort of ran him over and bisected him. So yeah, and you can see this at night, and you can smell it to the blood, right?
Mhm.
And that's one thing is like you're lying, so the smell of blood hits you in the moment. It's like
It's action time.
you fight back the activism to like, okay, I'm not gonna this. I've been in a fight before. I don't have to fall for this, but unless you want to give into it.
I can always
but
take
yeah.
a nibble. I mean, no.
Yeah, so yeah, that happened. And what's everybody else doing? As you're sort of like
So yeah.
checking off the cop.
So
the cop.
reeling and getting out basically is what's happening.
Yes.
Sounds like
Oh,
Spencer's
yeah.
playing too.
Once we get out of the carriage, I'm gonna go check out theirs.
Right. And Harmon, I will attempt to rally you when our turn comes next so that you get to do your thing.
Who's going to open up the other carriage? Again, both carriages are on their side, basically, right?
Right. My assumption is we're still in like initiative time, right?
No, it's over.
Oh, okay. Never mind. Yeah. So, after we tumble out of the cart, yeah, I'll go ahead and start heading over, and I will actually call out loudly, "If you're still inside there, drop all of your arms and surrender."
I don't think he's inside there. I'm gonna rush over and I would open the door. I think he just killed himself, or tried to destroy himself.
You open the door, right? And you notice that these carriages, well, used to have like 2 lanterns on the side, right? For of course those lanterns are gone as well. And when you open it, basically, yeah, you see a bloodbath. You see a body sort of in the bottom of the carriage, in this case against the other door, and just see blood on what should be the roof of the and they have a smoking gun, right?
Yeah, Dax is just like, God damn it, like because we lost him.
Yeah.
Gregory like immediately takes a step back. It's like he could have just surrendered. He's dead.
Whoever he is he's a rat. Well, you can tell he's a rat for what's left of him. And he has 2 weapons. He has a handgun that he used, and he also had a rifle. Well, not a rifle, a musket.
Ooh, very expensive.
Well, he might have had
weapons.
he might have had a fusil, which is a long-barreled smoothbore, if he's an assassin.
Yeah, and in fact, you can even see that the fusil had a little stand. So basically,
Yeah, monopods. Those are in the book.
Mhm.
And so clearly, this guy or gal at this moment, it's kind of hard to see with all the blood and everything else. It was prepared to take advantage of the situation and was a professional killer. Why did they choose to take their own life?
Well, considering they're committing treasonous murder, I have my suspicion.
I shouldn't get blood on my hands
am I
at this
laughing?
point. Dax, would you be kind and bring out the body?
Yep. And so I'll pull him out and him or her, and we'll try to see if there's any way we can identify this person.
Yeah, you do notice it's kind of hard to identify because basically, the threat, the throat thing. So he jumped his gun behind, so there's not the eyes and stuff like that. I don't want to get too specific, but he is dressed as very colorful clothing. Dax, you can do a mind and observation.
I will assist you, because if I do, you could get bonus dice. Congratulations, take a D12, because I'm a team player.
Nice. You got a 10. Good.
Sweet. Thanks for the help.
You notice that they're not dressed like the help of the party. When you would come in, and you probably noticed, and at first it was like you wouldn't notice this because it wasn't important, you wouldn't know what they were doing. But now, looking back into the whole fireworks thing, this person looked like some of the people that were working with the fireworks. Like that they have aprons and stuff like that. And then he is dressed like that. So clearly he wasn't part of the help, the people serving the food. He clearly wasn't, at least he didn't have the clothing of somebody who was, invited guest. So he must have been part of the people that were arranging for the fireworks, which explains the timing too, right? He tried to take advantage of the noise and confusion, right? And it almost worked, almost. Hey, Moondog, how you doing? And so, yeah, that's the situation, right? This individual didn't have time to change or anything like that because he was discovered by you and chased down. Probably he would have, ditched his clothes or whatever and weapons, but he never got the chance. Now the poor bastard most of him is here.
Well, we understand now how he perhaps got into the party. I guess the question is, I wonder if the fireworks team is actually in on this, or if he just infiltrated them. He does have these two weapons here, and they are not necessarily mass manufactured. They would perhaps have stamps or markings on them.
The rifle doesn't have one, but the stand has a marking that you don't recognize. It looks like an L, like somebody carved an L, and has roses on it. Right, it's very very intricate. But the weapon itself doesn't have a marking, but the stand for the fusil does have a marking, as it's it's and that. And that's very interesting, right? It's clearly this was commissioned, right? This is not something you pick up at an armory, or it's like, hey, I want the. It's not. This is not the Walmart of the.
In fact, I have a crazy question. Does it have a Does it have a telescope sight on it?
No, it does not.
Okay, that would be pretty wacky.
Yeah, that would be a bit too much. But close enough, right? It's a marksman's fusil, basically. And clearly this was set up, for the job, right? This person is not somebody who just walked into the local gun store and like, I want the second to the left, right? And got his gift card, his Walmart gift card to buy it or something, right? He came well prepared.
It's a custom-made unmarked assassination weapon. That's illegal.
Oh, yeah.
Well, fortunately, there is at least one mark here, and well, I guess we're walking back. So I know one of the drivers is utterly dead. How about the other one? Do they have even the slightest bit of life in them?
Well, when you check, you can see at night, and you sort of take a while, 10, 15 minutes to check, and basically you find the other driver with one of his eyeballs replaced by a bullet.
Ooh, yeah. Well, he's dead.
Harmon's hit was so precise that basically that's what happened.
Well, I'm just going to go ahead and make sure they're just laid out beside the roadside here, and I'm gonna have to get someone else to deal with this later. But we're gonna take the handgun, we're gonna take the fusil. Dax, you can take care of these. You know how to use them.
I will take excellent care of them.
So go ahead and hold on to them for the moment.
Yeah. Are we still in town, or did this go out of town? Like, I'm wondering if there are people coming around.
Yeah, we were already out of town, and we went back up the road.
The estate is outside of town, so you're in the countryside, right?
Gotcha.
Maybe a farmhouse nearby, perhaps, and you might see somebody lighting up a torch or something because the noise, right? Carriages, shots. That's gonna carry over, but it'll take some time for anybody to just come in and try to investigate.
Understood. Yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah, so, I suppose it's probably up to us to, take care of this and reconvene at the party, and I can even summon up some fire in order to light up our area a little bit. 'Cause, hey, elementalism.
As you go back, basically, everybody who's not in fact, the footmen are now holding halberds and barring the door, so you have to present yourself like, yes, I am the magistrate, blah, blah, blah. You have to, because everybody has left. There's no carriages. There's no servants other than the strip. Everybody who was not a member of the family, including people who were dealing with the fireworks, have been vacated. Right.
Quick question for when we walked back. Did we leave the body of the assassin, or did?
Yeah, we're not dragging the body around. We'll just go fetch it later.
Okay.
They did so in order to make sure that there was no further attempts on the ambassador or anyone else, right?
But you took the weapons, right?
Yes.
What about the mounts? Tordero was asking.
Oh, the villagers will take care of that, I'm sure.
Yeah. One of them is pretty wounded, is lame, so they'll probably have to be,
That's peasant duty.
And the other one might be healed and brought back to to work, but it'll be a while, right? They're spooked, angry, wounded, right? They too suffer because the carriages went off kilter. So yeah.
Yeah, so we're probably seeing them as they're leaving. We're walking back, and by the time we get there, nobody's there. I'm guessing the magistrates have also left too.
the only people aside from the footmen, the house servants and the guards, the ambassadors' house guards, which also kind of like the embassies, in a way, the embassy guards as well, is our friend Vesper, who Norman, sorry, and who's covered in blood and cuts and has been doing healing and what have you, and praying and the healer of the house. So you come in, also probably dusty and covered in blood and whatnot,
Oh, forgive me, Lord, that I am not very well presentable at the moment. Tell me that you have good news.
Unfortunately, the worst of news. We did catch up to the assailant, but he took his own life.
Tragedy.
And of course, 2 others were caught up in all of this, the 2 drivers. We crashed a little bit.
A little bit.
A little bit. Small crash.
The drivers were killed?
Well, you understand how crashes work. I don't
That's
think
not what we call a little bit crash.
At least I wasn't at the wheel, but such is as things happen.
And what about the drays that were pulling the carriages?
They're still there. The villagers came by, and it looks like they will take custody.
No, I mean, you
of
guys.
them.
I was waiting for you guys to check to see if they were dead, because if they're not, they're going to be dead soon, because they're probably lame and hideous. I don't know how much detail we want to get into here.
I may have
laughing?
skipped a little bit of my anatomy courses back at the university. I wouldn't know what to do anyway.
Well, the good news is the 2 of them will pull through, although I have much to atone for, because I spent my lifetime training for this sort of activity, and at the moment of truth, I had a mortal failing. I can understand if you wouldn't want me to continue to be your advisor.
You've done the best that you could, and it was such urgent circumstances. And I suppose I did as best as I could as well. We're not entirely, with failure tonight, though. We have a small bit of success. Everyone's already
Whatever
left.
this was.
Did you happen to see where the fireworkmen went?
No, all of my attention was focused upon the wounded. It apparently is a single discharge that went through 2 targets. It must have been from a very high-powered round, and a bullet that I'm guessing is not mere lead, but possibly stone or steel. That bullet might still be here and could possibly be recovered.
Right. We have the weapon here, and the bag of bullets that they had as well. So we can go
This is
ahead and
fine
confirm this
workmanship.
immediately, actually. Are they steel?
Oh, you have, yeah. Wait, you have his bullets?
Yes. It's a small bag.
Well, but also he might have had a special bullet already loaded in the gun.
Also a possibility, but, well...
He had powder, and the bullets we have are lead because they're for the handgun.
Yeah, and I'm guessing he also overloaded the round. Whoever that was, they were a skilled shooter who made a very precise kill shot from in the darkness with a lot of distraction. That was a professional assassin, and you can see clearly from examining this weapon that is clearly a weapon of quality manufacture. This was sponsored by people with strong loyalty and quite a bit of resources.
Really. I definitely agree. Someone with more money to spend than sense has gone through with this.
Well, not only that, but if you examine the weapon, it's not that, if I'm examining this correctly, it's not that the maker's mark was erased. The weapon has no maker's mark at all, correct?
Correct.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, that's incredibly illegal. That they couldn't trace the manufacturer of this, because that means it was clearly manufactured in secret to be untraceable, to be used as an assassin's weapon. Someone would have to have access to a weapons, a gun steel forge, and get this made in clear defiance of the law.
I absolutely agree. I suppose it's good then that we do have at least one gun with one mark, and perhaps we can get some answers from there.
But you're talking about an extremely powerful, well, a well-entrenched conspiracy. They have means that we can only guess at. This is huge.
Or there are ways to hire an assassin, and an assassin whose job it is to take care of people could have been hired by a source that does not necessarily have all of these means themselves, but enough
I
money
shudder to think.
Well, one way or another, it is upon us to find the answers. Or at least, perhaps to tell the Lord Chamberlain, and let Claire decide from there.
I'm going. You'll need to forgive me, Lord, but the events of this evening have overwhelmed me. I need to repair to the church and from my devotions.
Well, most of the carriages have left already. I'm not sure ours is still out there either.
No, I'll walk. It is tradition to take a pilgrimage.
Well, we'll walk together. Perhaps we should talk with, your patients as well before we leave.
Well, they are actually. Are either of them conscious? Are they able to speak?
The Nicholas, the constable, he is unconscious, but the ambassador, Charles
Right.
Martel,
And they have a staff
he's
doctor.
conscious. Yeah, they're conscious. They're basically
So-
resting their back on the bed. And it's like, no,
Yeah, so I'll leave them in your capable hands. I have to excuse myself, and my character is going to wander off
Okay.
to the church, contemplating his.
You
failure
got a
of the
long walk
evening
back to the
entirely.
city, basically. We're probably gonna catch up with you. Oh, you'll
You
probably
will
find the
probably
drays at the
catch
side
up
of the
to
road
me.
on the way.
But Vesper needs some alone time.
Yeah.
I'm smiling. Vesper's crushed.
So he's there, he's resting, and his wife is fussing over him. It's like, darling, I had worse things happen. Besides, I'm still alive, so it's no problem. Your husband will not leave you yet. You don't get my dinner yet. And she basically sort of bops him over the behind the head. It's like, how dare you talk about money at this moment? Now that hurts even more. My pride, really. So and he sort of looks in your direction. You're approaching, and their footmen are there with halberds, and they're like standing in the middle, like you can't approach.
Yeah.
them like this.
And I'm
So
just
what do you
approaching like, well, it's good to see that even a bullet can't bring you down. Or your spirits.
And he sort of waves away the footman, so to let you come in closer. The up and coming. What was it? What's the term?
Magistrate.
Magistrate. Yes. I'm sorry you have to see me this way. I did not schedule an execution for tonight, especially my own, or the poor councilman's for that matter.
I'd hope not. Better in
Yeah,
the open
just
air
double-
anyway.
Double check those warrants for your sign. You said, wait, why is my name on this?
I suppose it would at least put some of your spirit at ease to know that the assailant has met his end.
Too bad. I would have liked to have dragged him into the basement and tried to take some ganses from his flesh. Alas.
I would have liked some answers myself, but, well, he took the opportunity from us.
Whatever dominion of hell swallow his spirit and condemn him to eternal fire.
Do you know who would have done this? Who he could have been working for, or group he would have been part of?
My dear friend, I wish I right now I knew. I do have enemies back in Calambria, Triskelion. One reason why I took this ambassadorship, because, well, you are very vociferous about the rights of sentient beings. Some people get upset. It may look like the dashing nobleman that I am, but I also believe in chivalry. I believe that a nobleman's purpose is to serve the community and the people. Why have wealth if you do not use it wisely?
I couldn't have said better myself.
But apparently that upset some people, and I was asked to become an ambassador to these beautiful isles. I fall in love with your rainy green pastures. My wife doesn't like it too much. She's just like she literally winning. It's like, oh dear. I know there's not as much shopping as you have back at Draskillian, but that's what it is. And she's now her eyes are tearing up, like she's upset, right? The whole thing has her upset, and she's trying to be supportive, but at the same time, it's like, don't kid about this. This is important, right? Do not. And she taps her head. Do not wear dear. Tonight is not my night. It was supposed to be my night, I suppose. One way than one, but not so. So I could have many enemies, but anyone who will go to trouble to make such an assassination, I do not know of anybody particular. At most, they would probably send a nasty letter my way, denunciation or two, but that's about it.
I see.
I don't know what I could have done to get me shot. I wish I knew, but I don't.
Well, I do believe there must be certain forces on the Isles that might not look kindly on a foreigner, unfortunately. Poor Nicholas, though. Shame that he got involved. How close are you to Nicholas?
Oh, he's a very good friend. When I came in, he offered to help me around, hire servants, get the state running, that sort of thing. We've been knowing each other for the last 3 years or so. Sadly, perhaps it was guilt by association. You understand that I'm a foreign ambassador. And as you said, there's some people who wish more close ties to Calabria and the different houses there, and there's others who wish to isolate themselves. Perhaps they thought that I was pushing one way or another. I've been very careful this past few years not to unduly influence the local politics and upset anyone. My job really is to make sure that the interests of my country, especially merchant class, are well served. As long as the coin flows, everybody is happy.
Of course.
I don't see why. I have not advocated for any course of action. I have certainly not backed any person for the crown, anything like that. I make that absolutely sure that my house, House Martel, and the other Bourgeois are not backing any. That the internal affairs of the Isles remained affairs of her rulers and her people, not mine.
Of
it would
course.
be rude to interfere.
Well, I'm glad to see that that at least you don't think that you have any enemies out there. So I'm happy to hear that.
Well,
I will be doing.
I said that no one will be so callous as to try to shoot me, I think.
Of course.
Although I may have to reconsider that position, considering what happened tonight.
I would recommend perhaps a few more guards, but I will have to ask, have you perhaps seen this symbol before? And I'll show him the pistol.
The La Roquette. Yeah, it's a manufacturing back in Calabria. He's someone who makes weapons. The Lagre family has been making weapons for, for people for some time. It's costly weapons. You have to order them specifically for him. Well crafted, all of them. I once was in a list to get my particular handgun from La Roquette, but I moved here, and so I haven't heard from him yet. I guess he could not send it on a ship. Way too expensive.
I see. Well, your assailant did have this, of course. I expect that's probably obvious. So, perhaps maybe it's not even someone in the Isles. Or perhaps someone back home still doesn't like you.
To be honest,
that seems hard to say.
One could argue that my position here is a former exile, right? I am, like I said, I did make some trouble, political trouble, really, just positions here and there, and I was encouraged to take this ambassadorship. I've been 3 years here. No one has made a move against me. So.
Right, it seems foolish. The point of exiling would be that you're no longer the problem. It seems ridiculous that they would go through this kind of measure if they were truly that upset.
Yeah.
Well,
Or they will wait for my ambassador should be over by next year, and well, do me in then, as I'm much closer.
precisely. Well, I suppose there is quite a bit of investigating ahead to do. I will keep you informed if we know of any further threats.
Well, I have a few questions as well, sir. So it seems like the fireworks display was used, taken advantage of in order to further this plot. I'm curious, um, when the idea of having fireworks was brought about, and who was running it specifically. The men working, are they servants of yours who know how to make fireworks, or are they
Oh, no,
another
no, no,
party?
no. I heard of a circus that came from the Calabria. They are the Cirque de Dauphin. That is, they do travel across Calabria to do all kinds of shows. And among the things they specialize is fireworks. I heard that they were here, and I remember them from our youth, so I wish to hire them. Um, thought that fireworks would be very impressive. Also, I would. They're doing a tour of the Isles, which is very rare. It's expensive to travel with a large party, but I suppose new pastures and all that. So I took the opportunity to hire them. But again, why would they do that? And
I suspect it wasn't them, not a circus, would get up to this. But if you happen to know where they are now, perhaps we could go take a visit and see if they happen to be aware of who their compatriot was.
I believe they're setting up outside of the city itself for the continuation of the celebrations of the spring festival. So yes, um, it's they're between here and here. There often was a bit of a road, so you could probably find them on your way back. At least during the daytime. Very
Of course.
colorful. But if you excuse me, sir, I need my rest now.
Of course. I wish you well, and I trust Nicholas is in your good hands right now.
I shall deliver him to him with a heavy guard as soon as possible.
Excellent.
I'm sure that the council the Privy Council will shout bloody murder as soon as they realize what's happened here. Word probably already reached them, as people have left the party.
Well, best of luck to you in your ventures for now, and to a swift recovery as well. I'm willing to take my leave. Let's go ahead and head down the road, everybody.
Vesper, as you're going down the road, something strange is happening, right? A mist starts gathering around you. And you feel like somebody's walking beside you.
That's weird.
Yeah, and you hear a voice that says, sort of almost materializes from the mist. It's a lupine form, but it has a cloak. And he's sort of walking beside you. What do you do?
Well, if I think I'm being followed, I'll deliberately change my route to see if they're still following me.
This figure just literally appears like walking right beside you.
Yeah, he's an inch away.
Yeah, he's like right
Wow.
there. He's like, wow.
Well, is he blocking my path?
No, you're just walking, and he's walking right beside you, like you were just walking in the road, and we were walking right beside you.
Yeah. Well, keep your faith alive, but keep your powder dry. I mean, I'm going to keep walking slowly, but I am walking with my staff in hand, so if something happens untoward, like he tries to mug me, I'll be ready for it. But if he's not going to speak to me, he's going to slink behind me. Well, I'm sorry, is he behind me, like slinking behind me, or just like starts walking side by side with me?
Side by side.
Oh. I suppose it would only be polite to say, peace be with you.
May the mother share it. May the mother embrace you in her bosom. Child, you have what can I say? You have come to our attention, child.
You have advantage over me, as I know nothing about. I mean, he's not wearing any frock or clothing or colors or anything, right?
He's wearing like a cloak that covers him. You know he's at Lupin because you can see the feet.
Right, but he's
The
not.
cloak
But
is-
I'm wearing the cloth. I'm wearing white.
Yes. Yeah.
So
You're
he's
not
just
a-
wearing a walking cloak. So he's totally anonymous.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's why I'll just kind of snort, and say you have advantage over me, as I know nothing of you.
Our purposes are not as contrary as you might think, child. You speak of the spirit. We speak of the land. You will soon learn that those things are tied together. Everything has a spirit. And all the spirits come to and from the land, the air, the sea, the sky beyond.
You may have confused me for someone else. It's not earthly concerns that I busy myself with, but that of the great hereafter.
And shouldn't the spirits fly true after the hereafter, clean of their sins, free of their burdens, if I understand correctly?
I will stop, plant my staff firmly, and give him a challenging glare from my eyes here in the darkness, for which is a friend of mine, as I am Raccoon. And say, there's no need for equivocation. Speak plainly and truly. What is it you desire from me?
And he turns, he looks at you, look down at you, right? I'm remembering how this land once was. Things are changing. And you, my child, are at the heart of it. You may not believe so, but you are. Now, I don't wish to be cryptic, since things are now unclear. You saw part of the problem back in the mind, the ley line. That is part of it. But it's part of a larger whole. You wish to help the people, correct?
Were you agents behind this violence and tragic loss of life? At least 2 innocent people perished, not to mention the other repercussions that might cause of this, the tragedy. Tell me!
I did not take any lives, child. We did not take any lives. We are, like you, guardians of the spirit. It's just that we
Then-
see things a little different.
If your intentions are true, then you should speak truly. Cease all of this hiding and skullduggery. Who are you and who do you serve?
I serve the goddess. I serve the land, as you serve the spirit and those that lies beyond. They're not so different, you and I.
I have no need for this sort of the activities in the shadows where people hide their true intentions behind their dark clothes and behind larger aphorisms. I bid you good evening, sir.
Before you go, when you see our brothers and sisters, I beg of you, do not judge them too harshly. That's all I wanted to say, child. I will trouble you no longer. When he says that, because you leave him behind, right? He sort of fits into the mist.
Yeah, I figured as much. Politics.
And you walk
Great.
back, and as the mist clears, you can start to see the lights of the cities, right? So you
Yeah.
closer to. You're like, wait a minute. It would have taken me. I came by carriage. It should have taken me more time to get to this point, but
Yeah, but
yeah.
time and distance are relative, pagans. Ugh.
Yeah.
How dare they cheat me of my walk of shame, which is different from the other kinds of walk of shame you're thinking of.
You have different, yeah.
Great. Now I've gone from depressed to angry. I'm dangry.
That's a good one. And the rest of you basically eventually catch up and
Before I get to the
and
church?
get to. No. You get to the church, but you say catch up. You return to the city, and they basically send some peasants to deal with the horde what was the mounts. I was gonna say
Yeah,
horses,
the drays.
the drays, right? And early in the morning, Gregory, you get summoned to the barracks. The Lord Chamberlain wants to speak to you.
Oh, good, she's in. And I'll like pick up the bottle of wine I have. I'll stumble over. I'm stretching a little bit. It's like, that crash. I've taken away the hurt, but I'm gonna walk in, and I already have like a piece of paper, and it's wrapped around the bottle, and I'm gonna put both of them on her desk.
She smiles, puts the bottle to a side, and orders the door closed behind you, and basically it's you and her alone.
Mm-hmm.
She gets up, says, "As you probably imagine, we, and by we I mean you, have a problem."
That's the mildest way I could possibly imagine to put this. This is more than a problem. I think we can both imagine why.
Well, it could become more than a problem. It doesn't get solved quickly. There was an attempt. We suspect. We send our own investigators. Based on your report, we suspect that this was not an attempt on the ambassador, but on the councilman. I suspected that the forces arraigned against the king would move swiftly. He's no longer for this world, and when he departs, there might well be a civil war. We've been trying very hard in the council to try to avoid it. Someone has moved in. Someone is trying to literally take the first shot. Nearly succeeded. Since you were there, and you started the investigation, and you already know the parties involved, at least some of them, it falls to you to deal with this. I would suggest first tracking down any notables in the party and any other clues that you may have, and find those responsible. Now, one word of warning. Be very careful who you accuse of this. While speed is of the essence, so is precision. We mark the wrong person or party, we might be doing the wrongdoer's own job for them.
Right, this could all be our heads as well.
I will not see my beloved city burn. Some power play, some greedy bastards. Not without a fight. Do you understand that, Gregory?
I do. I understand my duty. We might only have a short amount of time to prevent this from boiling over.
I know this is a major escalation of what you just were dealing with. I'm afraid paying your way out of this is not going to work. But I trust you have experience and the know-how and the people to help you. I'll try my best to support you, but I also have to tread carefully.
Well, if I have any need of anything, I'll be sure to come to you.
Okay, you do. Make regular reports. Daily if you can.
I will do. I'll need a paper trail if I'm going to be taken out the same way.
I hope it doesn't come to that.
I might need to ask for that bottle of wine back tonight. Oh.
Let's say I'll keep it and share it when you find the culprit.
I'll hold you to that.
Very well. You're dismissed.
And I'll go ahead and dismiss myself. And of course, you know, the seriousness that Gregory puts on never lasts for long. As soon as he's out the door, his shoulders immediately go down. He's like, oh my gosh, what have I gotten myself into? This is supposed to be an easy job.
Yes. Yeah. But you were not. Hope everybody's waiting outside. You were left alone. You know, you came in by yourself because this was a direct mandate from the Lord Chamberlain.
Yeah.
Nobody else.
So I'll go ahead and like convene everyone and say, let's go over to my house and let's drink the evening away. Wink, wink. Not actually, but Yeah, so we'll go to my house and we'll have a private conversation about what to do then.
So, well, I guess everybody except Vesper, who is still at the church, commiserating or cleansing their soul or whatever it is that they're doing.
Yeah, well, I mean, Vesper's had all night. What have you been up to, Vesper?
Well, all night, I have to pray for at least 24 hours.
Yeah. Whips may be involved. Who knows?
Hey, I'm not one of those weird Highmores. Don't lump those weirdos in with me.
I'll pay for someone to pray for you then, if you'd come along to meet with us today.
It really doesn't work that way, but, what is it you need me for? I'm not really all that useful anyway. I had one job and I couldn't even do it.
Well, I'm going to need you to do the job anyway, because my neck is going to be next. I would appreciate having a friend at my back.
Well, I suppose I can't let you be murdered by unseen assassins.
That's the spirit. And we'll go ahead. We'll just convene it at my estate. I'll just take him to, like, my parlor. It's probably just, very nicely arranged for random guests right now.
Well, I'll have to excuse myself every 3 hours for my devotions.
Of course. I'll pour everyone some wine and go, well, we have our orders to continue investigating the events of last night. And I don't think I need to tell all of you that it is about as serious as it gets, and if we mess this up, it's probably all of our heads, and probably everyone else's. No pressure.
Well, speaking as a person of the church and not of the state, it's not really my head that's on the line.
Why?
I think just being my friend might actually be enough to make that so. Being one of the king's men looking into this.
Well, I think someone's setting you up for failure, sir.
I think it's more that other things are failing around us. If we handle this poorly, there's going to be a civil war, and one side is going to not like us.
Yes, there is sedition brewing in all corners of this land.
But here it is, right in our face. So, I suppose we should discuss what leads we have, and, I see about 2.
Have you considered chartering a boat back to Calabria?
Well, we do have a boat right now. I think Felix is probably ready to go at any time. He's not up to anything right now. But maybe we should at least attempt first. There's plenty of things here, and so is my house.
And your family.
And my family. And my sister.
What 2 do you see?
Well, the 2 I see right now is the traveling circus. The man was dressed up like them. Perhaps they are aware if one of their kind has gone missing, or if maybe he was with them all along. It seems strange, but, well, it's a place. The other part that I see is we have the marking on this gun. Maybe the manufacturer is involved in some way, or maybe we could trace the sale of the gun, because this is actually one of the this could actually be illegal to some degree. Maybe.
It's not that it might be. It is. You can't manufacture weapons without a mark. It's illegal because they could be used for untraceable assassination like this.
Right, so this is the one that we can trace, and perhaps we can find something from there.
So he had an aiming stand, but that has a mark on it, but that's a separate piece. That could have been gotten anywhere.
Mm-hmm.
Oh,
Anyone could have just fashioned some metal.
To just clarify this, the pistol has the maker's mark. The other gun does not have a mark.
Correct.
Okay, so the pistol we can try.
Okay, so he had a pistol. That's a good lead, but I also suggest that this untraceable weapon is also your lead. Somehow this weapon had to get, either it was made locally or it came into the country, and someone got it made. It is a very precisely tuned and extravagant instrument. If you can find out who could have gotten this commissioned or gotten this into the country past any sort of inspection, that is, I think, going to be one of your major leads.
Yes, we may want to
I
check with
agree.
some of the local guilds who are dealing in the manufacture of firearms to see if something so extravagant might not hold some other mark of its make, a
Right.
signature technique of the artisan, for example.
On
Well, this
both
is what I
grounds
want
are
to turn.
To make such a weapon, you would figure that maybe some of the masters around here might even know who could have done it.
precisely.
Right, but I also want to turn to Spencer here, who is a master of the thaumaturgical arts. Spencer, are you a skilled diviner? Can you scry for locations?
That is something I've been studying. I have yet to progress past the apprentice level yet.
Ah, how many experience points do you have?
4, like everybody else.
Ah, we're never going to get you up to the. I forget what the prerequisites are for location, but it's not cheap.
Actually, I think it's just having. Well, you definitely need some marks in searching. I don't know what other you would need.
I think it actually needs geography, but don't hold me to that. In any event, yeah,
Geography is not a prerequisite; it's a bonus to the spell.
Oh, wow.
Oh.
Okay. Well, then there we go. But you don't have it, so that kind of kiboshes that.
Yeah, specializing in 2 magics kind of makes both of them go slowly. But I want to get both thought reading and location as soon as possible.
Right.
Two
So,
very useful skills in the arts of investigation.
so one way or another, harassing the local gun manufacturers does seem like the a place to start.
But also, it's gun steel, which I have to reinforce. You can't make that in a conventional forge.
Right.
Yeah.
So that must be someone must be responsible.
I do have, familiarity with firearms. I can take them and perhaps ask some questions.
I agree.
However, I feel the what is it, the fireworks troop.
Yes.
Um,
You
I
stepped
think
away
that-
maybe when I mentioned it, but that was one of the first ones I was suggesting we investigate.
Yes, and that I believe is my prime, concern as well. If they are from Calabria, they are, if this man wasn't the only assassin among them, then I think it's something we need to
Mhm.
discover immediately. That seems like the most pressing threat. But of course, looking into the guns will be important as well.
Definitely.
Right.
I think immediately the suggestion would be that Dax and Spencer should immediately go to the circus before they leave or abscond and make inquiries there, since they are skilled at inquiries.
Indeed.
All
And then I suppose we should go ahead and investigate the guns. We
Yes,
could also
should
try
immediately.
to. Sorry.
We immediately should repair ourselves to the customs house and immediately start going through the records of well, or not even that, we should immediately go to the registry and find all forges in this kingdom that would be capable of making this sort of steel. I think unless we can ascertain if the weapon was imported or not. The only way we're able to do that is to examine the steel, and I assume it has a wooden stock.
Yeah.
Right. Because without a bone stock, that would be creepy. Right. So trying to the materials it's made out of, if the wood it's made out of is native to this land, then that would be, then it was made, then part of it was probably made here. But really, we need to find out like where their forge is. Now, what I'm really worried about is if it's not a forge that we can find, there might be a secret forge. These islands are pretty big. And we've already seen sedition here, where we've seen there's already like, oh, I don't know, a secret bunch of bandits with a cannon.
Right. There's a wealthy enough smuggling ring here that well, just any old bastard can go ahead and pick up a boat with a cannon. Not
In fact,
me.
that's another question. What was the maker's mark on that cannon that we found?
Yeah, that mark, the cannon was foreign. It was from Calabria.
So it does have a mark on it, and it was
Yeah.
imported from Calabria.
Because where else would it come from, really?
Why don't we start with if we can trace from the customs house who imported that cannon,
Mhm.
because there should be a record of it in the customs house, because there isn't. It's double illegal, although it might be. In other words, if we can find out who imported that cannon, would be the first person to start with, because they're a big crime guy. Basically, what I'm saying is, I have a lot of academics. I am more than happy to go through the world's most boring records.
And I have a single academics dice, and I am a team player, so I can carry the books for you.
Right, so that's why I would suggest that Dax and Spencer go inquire among the people while we go among the records. So the question is what to do with Harmon, and I suppose Harmon will come with us and be his usual comic relief.
Right, he's my bodyguard. He'll stay with me for the time being, unless Dax and Spencer think that there might be incredible danger at the circus, which I'm not expecting it.
Circuses are the safest place you could be at.
Exactly,
But
it's only fun and merriment.
What was
But there's clowns there.
Exactly, clowns have never done anything bad ever.
Now, it's Middle Ages. We call them mummers.
Alright. The only thing I would like to also end this off with is, we could also do an inquiry to Nicholas himself, and maybe he has an idea of who his enemies are, but, that could be just as fruitful as asking our, ambassador.